are here with Notary to Notary, and I want to let you know that yes, I Notarize is soon to launch. We are getting excited for our app preview party that is happening September 23rd. But that being said, it's got me all pumped up for all things e-notary. How comfortable are you completing remote online notarizations? So when I first started doing bronze, it was probably around 2015, 2016, but there wasn't much of a demand for it. It was kind of just like an additional add-on that you could do. So much that I only did like quite a few a year, very few. And then after COVID, the COVID pandemic happened, everything went remote and virtual. Listen, e-notary skyrocketed. And so the current statistic for 2020 is over 500% increase of e-notarizations. And I'm sure by this point in time, if you're a notary, you've heard of RON or heard of e-notary. Now, training students all over the country, one of the biggest fears that I've seen from my students getting into RON is that they don't feel comfortable with the technology. They don't know how to get clients. You know, it's a whole new sphere for them. Even the traditional notaries who've been doing it for 10 to 20 plus years, it's like, okay, hold on, what is this? Okay, and I completely understand that, especially if you're not really tech savvy, it can be very intimidating. But I will say, e-notary is where we're going. You know, we know that technology is definitely moving in that direction. And do I think traditional notary will completely go away? No. It's like we still have VHSs and DVDs, right? But the majority of people stream, right? But there are people who still have DVDs and, you know, they may have VHSs, right? And they may even watch cable TV. Okay, but the majority of us stream at this point, and that's what's going to happen in the notary space. It's going to get to the point where the majority of transactions, whether that's real estate or just general or specialty notary work, are going to be conducted electronically. That being said, you as a business owner need to start planning for that. How are you preparing for the upcoming shift? There's a quote I believe Mark Cuban said, where he said in his business, he always does the thing that would put him out of business, right? So he's always thinking in the future. And so yes, in-person notarizations are still a thing, and it's booming, right? But e-notary is that thing that once it happens, it's going to drastically reduce your in-person notarizations. Once it becomes mainstream and everybody's doing it and it's the common way to notarize a document, those in-persons are going to see a real decrease. And so you want to plan accordingly, especially if you're doing this full-time. So how do you begin to plan? First thing is you want to talk to your Secretary of State or your commissioning office that handles your notary commissioning things, okay? And so typically they'll have some kind of legislation or documentation that will explain to you the law in your state. Now, every state is different. Some states put out legislation or handbooks just for e-notary, and some states just have like a couple, you know, sentences saying, hey, you can do it, but they don't give you much guidance. Whatever it is your state has, go find it and read it so you know the law in your state. Once again, do not go to Facebook groups and online forums and try to find the law for your state. Go right to your notary commissioning body so they can tell you exactly what you can and cannot do. That's first. Secondly, you want to get some training. So we have training at notarytonotary.com. It's called our e-notary RON training program, and it's applicable nationwide. Now, very few, I'm thinking like 3 to 4 states have a mandatory exam to start conducting e-notarizations. If you're in one of those states, our training will not meet that credential, so you do have to take typically the training with the state or an outside provider that they approve in order to be an e-notary. Now, most states don't have that. They may have an application process, which we go over in our course, the basics that almost all applications look for, right? And if you have any questions, let's say your state's a little bit different with your application, just send me an email at info@notarytonotary.com and I'll help you navigate that application process. So first, we're going to read the law. Okay. Second is we're going to get into some training. So we're going to take the e-notary RON training at notarytonotary.com. Once you enroll into that training, you also get a complimentary e-seal for your notary business. Yay. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start learning how to market and how to get clientele. And so I teach that a lot in my book, the Do-It-Yourself RON Guide, that shows you how to start building your business independently. So there's 2 different types of platforms that you can join as an e-notary. You can join what we call a dependent platform or an independent platform. This is important, okay, because I've seen a lot of notaries mess up here, and it costs them a lot of money. Okay, I'm talking about money now, so pay attention. Okay, so with the dependent platforms, those are the platforms that you can onboard with. It's typically free, and they give you work to complete for their clients, okay? Similar to like Notarize or Notary Cam, okay? Then you have the independent platforms. You only need one. You can have as many dependent platforms as you want, but you only need one paid independent platform. Now, independent platforms are a whole situation, and I can't explain all of that right now, but I do in my course. You want to make sure that they're well vetted. You need to know their fee schedule. You need to know several things. How do they verify identification? How do they handle video storage from your session? That's a big one. In most states, you're required to keep that video footage from that remote online notary for years. Even if you're no longer operating as a notary, it's still your requirement. So let's say you're a notary for 2 years and you say, you know what, I don't really want to do notary anymore. But your state, for example, for Virginia, we had to hold it for 5 years. You are still required to keep that footage for 5 years. And there are some platforms that will only keep that footage while you're paying to use the platform. There are some platforms who will keep it for forever, and there are some who only keep it for a set amount of time, regardless if you continue to pay. So you need to figure that out. But there's so much that goes into picking a platform for your e-notary business. But we teach that. Don't get overwhelmed, okay? Slow down, because you're already starting to calm down. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to register for our e-notary practice session. And this is a new program that we started here at Notary to Notary, where a lot of notaries, they may get the digital cert, their seal, their approval, they pick a platform, but they're still nervous about how to go through an independent remote online session. So during those practice sessions that we do, we're going to talk about how to get the client, and when you get the client, how do you get them to the point to even get on the session? How do you invoice? How do you prep docs? How do you get into the session? And then we're going to go into an actual session online, and you're going to see what it looks like. We're going to do it from the user side, the notary side, and then the actual signer side. One of the biggest things that I tell people when it comes to Ron is that the majority of your time is going to be giving tech support. So a lot of people may have issues like, oh, my camera's not on, or my audio's not on, or it may even be that I don't know what button to click. So like I'm in the session, but I'm not seeing this. So when you do it from a user point of view, then you can see, okay, this is what the user or the client is going to see when we get in that session. So I know how to tell them to navigate it, because it's different. It looks different on the notary side versus the user side. And so we're going to go through that, and then we're going to show you how to wrap it up. And that's it. Pretty simple, but I want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable when you're going out and starting to complete these remote online notarizations, and that's what that in-person practice session is for, okay? So if you're one of those people who are like, I want to do Ron, I want to work from home as an online notary, but the whole idea is intimidating, follow the 3 steps that I said. Learn your law, sign up for our e-notary training, and then get into an e-notary practice session. If you want to sign up for the e-notary practice session, just send us an email at info@notarytonotary.com and we'll get you started. But yes, you can work from home. Yes, you can do e-notary full time. It is a thing, okay? It's like anything. You just have to learn it. Once you learn it, you're good to go, okay? So if you need more help, training, and anything notary related, and some business topics too, reach out to us at notarytonotary.com, and I am here to help you become a 6-figure earner as a notary public. And until next time, happy signing!